All right, today on this Warhammer 40K competitive battle report, we have the one, the only Tyranid Subterranean Assault versus the CSM Renegade Raiders. So if you're wondering how these two armies match up against each other, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to take this roughly 3-hour game, condense it down roughly into 20 minutes, giving you what worked, what didn't work, and simply passing that knowledge on to you because I really do believe if one of us gets better, then we all get better. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen some of these reports before. And I always like to mention that even if you're not a Tyranid player, CSM player, or I know we got a lot of Necron homies in the house, I still think you can get a lot of value out of this video today. Maybe even how to play against Subterranean if you're struggling against it. And me kind of talking out loud as a Subterranean player, things that I'm looking for that can maybe help you in your next game. If they are a nightmare matchup for you, you're wondering like how to get them off the table. So today we are playing Scorched Earth, Search and Destroy, Layout 3, because I'm based here in the US, so we play a lot of GW layout. But hey, you know, WTC, UKTC, cool layouts as well. But going into this game, I'm going to have a link to my list down below. And we're experimenting a little bit more again here. So as you can see here, we got a little bit more trash at our disposal talking about the deployment here. So we have a unit, Gene Stealers, Neurogons. We have a Horospecs, which super cool. We got a unit of the Hormigons. We got 2 units of Raveners back here. The Zone Thropes, Hive Tyrant, Byrivore, unit of 10 Gargoyles, and then we have our Infiltrators right here, okay? So the big thing I like to talk about just in deployment before we actually flip over to the actual game is the thought process around deployment, because I think those are some of like the biggest learning lessons here. And as you're seeing here, is we're really thinking about, okay, what are my options if I'm going first? So if we're looking at a Lictor, you know, if I get Tempting Target first turn, something like that, he can very easily, you know, move 8, get on this objective, or the Gargoyles for that matter, give me an easy 5 points. In general, especially with Tyranids, I want to make sure that I'm able to touch any one of these objectives turn 1 because Tempting Target is just a very easy 5 points. And then it kind of saves me if I potentially draw like a dud round 1. Like if I draw Tempting Target and Assassination, at least I'm getting 5 points and I'm getting a CP, right? So Lictor is a good staging threat behind a wall. Denies scout moves. He threatens this objective. He punches decently hard in Subterranean. We have Gargoyles here, so if we go first, their threat range, it's a really easy move block here that we're essentially looking for. And then essentially with the Gene Stealers as well. So we have the Gene Stealers here. I've talked about in previous videos as far as when we're scouting. Generally, our scouting units, they're always looking for a safe staging point. So in Search and Destroy with this layout, Gene Stealer is a perfect pocket for them, 1 inch away from the wall. Where if I go first, again, they can threaten, you know, this area of the board. And then now the Hormigons, as you're seeing here, right? So we have the Hormigons here, and then they can stage up, get behind this wall. There are a lot of OC, and then potentially can create a move block here with maybe a Lictor or a Spore Mine, something like that, okay? So we have, you're going to notice here, we actually have the Nord Emissary off the board. And so this predominantly is going to be our Norn objective here to start. And the reason why I actually had him off the board in this matchup is if I went first, he does have enough output to just pop the Norn turn 1 with a big Possess Brick, and then he's got 2 Predators with las cannons that can essentially shoot downfield. So I wasn't feeling too high and mighty about like, okay, the game plan of just like going first, I'm just going to put this Norn here and expecting him to just like live through all that. I think I needed to play a little bit of a different game with my primary, or making sure that we're kind of drawing on primary and then really trying to make a big push in the late game. So flipping over to the game here, we have first turn going to the man, the myth, the legend, Tom himself. And he predominantly is a Shadow Legion player, but he's been experimenting with the Renegade Raiders as of recently. So pretty cool just to play against this detachment and see what it can do. And so because he's getting first turn, you're going to see him scout up his Possess Brick. And they are going to just yeet a charge turn 1 at the Neurogants and the Gene Stealers, okay? So, interesting play first turn. I mean, he was definitely mentioning, like, hey, I just want to try some stuff, and that's what practice games are for. Just see how things behave, see what the damage potential is. Just testing a bunch of stuff out, so which is cool. So he draws Cold the Horde, Assassination, and Cleanse turn 1. So Assassination is going to be a CP, and then he gets an easy cleanse on his Natural Expansion turn 1. And the Possessed are going to move in and clean up the Gene Stealers and the Neurogons. And he does end up actually tagging the Horospex to prevent it from picking up at the end of the turn. But the Horospex is decent. I mean, it's pretty good in this attachment. So 14 attacks, 712, 4 at strength 14, d6 plus 1 damage. So he picked up a decent amount of the brick from the pile-in. So going into my turn, we are going to get Extend Battle Lines and Engage on all fronts turn 1. So as you can see from the board here, we're already going to be in 3/4. So we're going to get a 2 on Engage on all fronts. And then we're looking to just extend battle lines here and here. But you're going to see that we're going to be basically, getting our good board control turn 1 and singling stuff out here. So the biggest thing that's going through my headspace here when I'm looking at this board, and this is what you guys come here for these battle reports, is me talking out loud of what's going through my mind, what am I looking for, okay? So the big thing with Tyranids is that I'm trying to lean into not a stat check list, because if I was playing a stat check, I would just play Necrons, and that's not why I want to play Tyranids. So I want to lean more into just more of the board control, easy primary denial, that part of the game that makes Tyranids, right? So basically going into the turn, the Gargoyles are going to do the very thing that I talked about. They're going to be moving up, and we're going to essentially be move blocking this whole area. Now, move blocking, if you're a newer player here, essentially means we are blocking these units from moving, or essentially moving up the board, where he has to take care of this resource before he can move farther up the board. It's a very powerful thing. Gargoyles are very efficient at it, and they take up a lot of space. And by doing that as well, we're also denying his primary, which is very strong as well. So we're essentially going to be move blocking here. And the other really nice thing that I like that's going to be highlighted here is the second move block with the Hormagaunts. Now, being able to run double Raveners is super powerful, because I'm going to fast forward here and kind of show you potentially what we can do here, where we are picking up, we have 2 units of Raveners here that dropped in. So we have the Raveners that dropped in here to create this hole. And then the other unit of Raveners is dropping back here to create another hole. And then essentially what happens, you can spend a CP to funnel the Raveners back to your home field and conserve that resource. And then I can have the Hormagaunts make a, roughly just a 6-inch charge to the Rhino, okay? And essentially create this move block situation. So the Hormagaunts end up actually making the charge. And I will preface as well, the other thing that happened is with the Zoanthropes, is they're going to use their blast profile on the Possessed here, or the ACDC brick, and they are just going to vaporize that unit. I think we killed everything but the character. It was just gone. So you're going to see this pretty much plays out. We have the Hormagaunts move blocking here. We have a Lictor on this objective. We have the Gargoyles staged up here, creating this nice move block. And we killed an entire ACDC brick turn 1, which felt good. Getting a big asset off the table. So going into turn 2, he's just going to get a 5 on primary because he holds his home field. He's going to get Establish Locus and Storm Hostile Objectives. So pretty easy turn as far as secondaries for Tom. He can easily just take Cypher, get Establish Locus here for 2 points, and then Storm Hostile. Hey, go figure. Just kill some Gargoyles. You're going to get it. Okay. So let's fast forward here. Let's keep things moving. And you're going to see the Gargoyles are essentially picked up here. He moves the bikes up. Unfortunately, 1 Gargoyle is left on the objective. So if you're wondering how I scored 10 primary going into turn 2, it made Tom really happy, man. He was really excited about that. So I'm sure when he watches this back, he's going to be really thrilled about that. Now going into this, he does a good play where the bikes charge in. These hounds also are proxies for bikes, by the way. So if you're wondering why I'm calling bikes when they are proxies, so the the sorry, my voice is a little raspy. I'm still getting over like a little cold or something. I don't know what it is, but the bikes are going to charge in, and then they do a 12-inch fallback here. With his strat for mounted units, which is a super strong ability that Renegade Raiders has, so he's able to get on that objective and actually deny me. So, if you didn't have like a crazy strat like that, most opponents, you're probably conserving your primary going into turn 2. This is like a really cool play that Renegade Raiders can do. And that is essentially the turn. So because it is turn 2, we are going to rapid ingress another unit of gargoyles in. And going into turn 2, we're going to pick up the Raveners. And then I think that was it. So going into my turn 2, we're going to get a 10 on primary because we auto pass this gargoyle and we hold this objective right here. And we're going to have recover assets and assassination. Okay. So recover assets is going to be pretty straightforward. We're just going to do it with a lictor here and then the hive tyrant back here because it's not really going to be interacting with anything this turn. And then assassination is just going to be a CP this turn. I was kind of starved for CP in the early game using it for stuff, so I didn't mind at least getting a CP this turn. I'm kind of slowing things down a little bit. So you are going to see me move up here. So the second wave of gargoyles is literally going to do the exact same thing again. We're just moving up the gargoyles. We're creating this move block here. We're denying primary. We're giving him 5s. We're establishing good board control. And we're just kind of stalling out the game. Now, the first relative error that I think I made in this game was the Hive Guard. Look, this is my first time using the Hive Guard, okay? And I was excited. I was like, you know what? I just want to blow some stuff up with these Hive Guard. Now, in hindsight, don't do this. Don't use the Hive Guard to kill this Rhino, okay? Especially when you got Predators just looking down the lanes and they can just move over and fire at these guys. Like, you don't need to do it. But I was super excited. I just wanted to kill the Rhino. And so that's what we did. Now, in hindsight, if you're wondering, okay, where would have been a better place to put them? I think, because you're here to learn, and as I am, I would have put them right here would have been a good spot out of the tunnel marker right here so they can drop wholly within 9. And then as essentially what it gives me, so here, so you guys can visualize. So tunnel marker here, the Hive Guard would go here, and then it gives me really good options to actually split fire. And the really nice thing about this play that I wish I would have noticed is that I would have been able to get rid of probably both bike units, which would have been super good. And then the other thing is that when the Hive Guard are on an objective, they get a 4+ on their Overwatch. So if you set it up correctly, what's really nice is that you're kind of doing triple duty with this because you are able to fire with both of these units. And then you also have your Overwatch covered right here in the center of the battlefield if they're positioned correctly. So it gives you like just really good output, really good efficiency out of this unit. Overall, I really do like the Hive Guard. I gotta say, I'm gonna be running them a little bit more. I think even after the Knights fizzle out, once they get fixed and like Death Guard, I still think the Hive Guard have a lot of good utility in Subterranean. I think they can solve a lot of problems that Subterranean potentially run into really in the early game as well, or just like trying to be able or killing cheap holes without having to overcommit early. So and it's just a reliable shooting platform as well. So Hive Guard are going to go there, and you're going to see the Raveners come in. They're going to drop the Norn in. And then we're essentially just going to try to pick up resources. So we're going to try to kill these bikes and kill these bikes here. Unfortunately, we don't kill quite all of them. One is left on 1 wound, and that is essentially the turn, okay? So going into turn 3, we're going to give Tom a 5 on primary again. He's going to get overwhelming force and extend battle lines. So that's going to be easy again because we have the 1 gargoyle here and then the other unit of gargoyles right here. So he's automatically going to get 5 on overwhelming force and extend battle lines. he's going to get that automatically as well. Just move something on this objective or this one, and you're going to get it. Okay. So you're going to see that play out here. You're going to see him shift resources forward. You're going to see the, let's see, the gargoyles die. Let's see here. So that goes there. And yeah, this is essentially the end of top of turn 3. So Tom moves up enough resources on this objective to deny from me again. I can't remember why I didn't move the Norn on the objective. I think the biggest thing is the bike actually had the Norn screened out, and I didn't want to charge him and have him out here just to get shot and charged by everything that next turn, because I think he has the output to kill it, and I felt like I was in a good spot with bottom of turn scoring where I didn't really need to push as hard with the Nord and really just play turns 3, 4, and 5 with him really strong. So he failed a 6-inch charge on this horror specs, which was super painful. I will say there was some like really big things in this game that just did not go Tom's way like at all. Starting in this turn. So he failed a 6 rerollable charge on this unit, so they're just sitting there. And then he does clean up the gargoyles with his thing. So looking at the board state, what's going in my mind going into bottom of turn 3. So mainly it's pretty simple where I'm looking at basically killing the forwardmost unit. So we're looking at killing this resource, this resource, this resource, and this resource. And you're like, okay, how are we exactly going to do that? And in my head, basically what I was looking at, I was like, okay, the zoanthropes can drop right here, and we can flamer. We can use the flamer to kill here, and then the las cannons can probably reliably pick up this. The Horus specs can move here, right? And then charge here, okay? So, which should, for the most part, I think, clean up that unit. And then this definitely has enough output to get rid of this unit right here. And I think that puts me in a good spot to really, I think, push the game at this point. So you're going to see more or less that play out here. And let's see how these pieces unfolded. We did drop the Trigon Prime in via Deep Strike here. One slight error that I made that I will talk about ahead of time is that I dropped him 9 outside of here, but I should have shifted him over just a little bit more to make him a more reliable heroic intervene threat right here. So you can see here that, like, if he was right there, it's a lot easier to get a heroic intervene from the Trigon. But by him being here, see how it's a lot more difficult, right? Big difference there. So Trigon's going to go there. You're going to see essentially that plays out. We actually end up killing this boy on the nose, which was pretty lucky. The zoanthropes did not pop off with their las cannons. But this Horus specs, man, just cleaned up. He killed, so his regular like attacks killed the Marines, and then the freaking claws just went in and just one-tapped the Lord, dude. Just Horus specs, he's pretty good, man. 125 points. I like him. All right. So possessed, moving up, and so this is his turn. So top of turn 4. He is going to get a 5 on primary again. He's going to get recover assets and behind enemy lines. So recover assets, fairly straightforward. He's got this unit in the back. Recover with a rhino. Call it good. He's got possess moving up here, which are going to easily get behind enemy lines here. But you're going to notice he didn't get behind enemy lines. So what happened? What happened, Kylan? So what ended up happening here is he moved up. He kills this Horus specs, easy peasy. He rolls a 12-inch charge on these possessed. Now, where they were, I think there was a way that he could have like made his basing requirements and stayed out of the heroic intervene threat, but he didn't really think that the Trigon Prime could pop off like he pops off. So the Trigon Prime, of course, heroic intervenes, and he freaking one taps the possessed dude. Gone. So it also denies his behind enemy lines. It's pretty crazy. So Norn's parked on here. There's 16 OC on here, more or less just saying, like, what do you want to do about it? So we're going into bottom of turn 4 now. And so we do deny his behind enemy lines. We're going to get a 10 on primary because we hold this objective and this objective. And now it opens up the opportunity for me to burn this objective, still use the Norn as a offensive weapon. That's the one nice thing about lictors is they're just great action monkeys, as you're seeing right now. So the Trigon's going to move up 10 inches. He does try to overwatch. The Trigon doesn't do much. And he's going to move up, clean up this unit here. And then we're looking at denying this objective now. So we're going to essentially drop in Raveners here with the Hive Tyrant. And you're going to see that play out here. So all these resources, and we're just going to charge in. So this Predator here, one thing to note, it's up against the wall. So this Hive Tyrant can charge here and attack through the wall. So all of these charges are 6 inches. I just needed one of these to go through. Sequencing is very important with this because I'm going to roll the Hive Tyrant first. That way, if I fail it, which I actually did, I can go on to the Raveners and then use the CP reroll as a backup. Now, you're probably wondering, I could have spent the CP to maybe like do the full reroll strat, but I already did the CP reduction with the Hive Tyrant in that battle round, so I couldn't do it. And I was already at 1 CP, so I didn't want to go down to 0 because I needed it for maybe something else. So basically, Trigon moves up in here, cleans up this unit, Norn cleans up this, and then the Raveners actually pop the Predator on the nose, which was crazy. So this is essentially the board state going into turn 5. He's going to get a 5 on primary again, and he's going to get engaged on all fronts and defend stronghold. So he's just going to hold the 3 quarters, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3. And he's not going to be able to get defend stronghold because I can pop up Raveners at the end of the game and then flood over to this objective. So pretty much from here, we talk it out. We are going to we deny his burn here. We do end up burning this objective, and then we move on to this objective at the end of the game, and essentially burn it and control it at the end. So, and then we get display of might and establish locus 4 and 4 and finish up 8655. So, I mean, overall, good game. We're both obviously trying stuff out, but Renegade Raider is definitely a very new thing for Tom. So I was just like appreciative of the rep and just getting a feel for this detachment. And Tyranids, I mean, to be honest, we have a lot of good profiles into Marines, which is nice, and we have a lot of 3 damage profiles, which is really rough for the possessed because it's like the perfect profile to get them out. It's because they're a 3-up, 5-up. So a lot of our melee profiles, we're just putting it right on their invul, and then it's just like a one-shot. So that felt really good. And then overall, the list, I mean, I was really happy with it. I'm going to put a link to the list down below and try it out some more. I think it's a total of 16 units. And the only thing that I want to experiment with more is I would like to run some hyper-adapted Raveners, just 1 unit. But it would require me to drop like a Horror Specs and the 11 Neurogaunts, which I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, the Neurogaunts are just so cool, dude. There's so much you can do with them. And the Horror Specs, he's just badass. So I don't know. But overall, I mean, yeah, great freaking game. If y'all stuck around this long, seriously, appreciate you watching. And don't worry, there's going to be some Necron content coming up soon. Don't worry. So anyways, we'll catch you in the next one.